Okay, so this video is going to be my labor and delivery story with Everly. She is now 6 months old, but I have everything written down on my phone, so I have all that to go off of, and I do remember it pretty clear still. So yeah, it's really late to be doing this, but I really want to get this up so I have it to look back on, you know, years down the road when I actually do forget. Okay, so what happened was at my 39-week appointment, I went in and I was only 1 centimeter, I think, maybe 2. Maybe it was like 1.5 centimeters, and I was like 50% effaced. So I wasn't like progressing that much on my own. And at this point, we were moving up here. Like, we had to move up here like that week. So I'm like, okay, if I go into labor, I'm gonna have to get a new doctor that's like up here. Like, I was like really stressed out. So me and my doctor decided that if I don't go into labor on my own naturally by 40 weeks, and that I would go in and I would get induced that day. So that's what ended up happening. Okay, so on January 6th, I could not sleep at all the night before. Like, I was, oh my gosh, you guys don't even know. I mean, you girls know who have like scheduled inductions or whatever, you know what it feels like, or even like C-sections, like you guys know. But it was just like all night long. I kept like trying to go to sleep. I'm like, okay, I need to sleep. Like, I'm going to need my rest, but I could not. I just kept thinking and thinking about it. I was really nervous and like anxious and excited, and I could not sleep. We were staying at my mom's because she lives in the area where my hospital is. So we were staying at my mom's overnight, and we left at like 3 in the morning because it's like a 40-minute drive. So we stayed there. We woke up at like, well, I bet I was awake all night. I did not sleep, but we left at like 3. We stopped at the gas station and I got some water. I knew I was hungry, but I couldn't eat anything. I was just like so nervous that I couldn't eat, and so I just got some water. My fiance got some snacks and some Monster and stuff like that. And then we get there, and I just remember getting out of the car, and like me and my fiance, like we just looked at each other and we're just like, okay, this is really happening. Like, it's time. We're having our baby girl. Like, it was just like, it was such a special moment that we had. It was great. And so we walk into the hospital and like we have our bags, and we walk in and we had to go and check in, and we had to tell them that, you know, we're here to be induced and then we need to go up to the birth center. I think they actually call it a life center. I don't know. Anyway, so we had to go up there, and so we, you know, checked in and everything, and then we had a nurse bring us up there. And, you know, she was just like, she was really nice. She just kept saying like, oh, I'm so happy for you guys, like, this is great, and good luck and everything. And then we get in to the birthing center, and we walk in, and they're like, oh, you must be Stephanie. And I'm like, yep, that's me. So they get us a room. We get in there, and I right away have to get undressed and put the robe on, not the robe, like the gown, put that on. And I just remember going in the bathroom, and I was just like, oh my god, like, this is for real. Like, I'm about to have a baby. I went to go sit on the bed, and they came in and they hooked up the monitors for the baby. They gave me an IV, and oh my god, seriously, like, the IV was horrible. Like, I seriously, like, they tried right here. They tried, I think they tried like right here. They tried right here and right here, and then they tried like on the side right here. They could not get it. Like, right here was the worst. I had the biggest bruise ever for the longest time. They like kept pushing and pushing, but it would not go in. Like, they were like hitting something. I have no idea like what even happened, but they were like pushing and pushing, and it would not go in. I'm like, okay, obviously there's something in the way. Like, can you just like not? Like, jeez. And then they tried everywhere else, and then they finally got it, I think, like right here, actually, like right over here somewhere. So yeah, that was a nightmare. That literally took like 30 minutes. So yeah, by the time all that was done, and like they were having a hard time like getting the baby on the monitor and everything, so by the time all that was ready, it was like 4:50 a.m. and that's when they checked me, and they told me that I was 2 centimeters dilated and I was 40% effaced, which was just really confusing because my doctor told me I was 50% and they telling me I'm 40%. I have no idea. Whatever, but that's what I was. And like while they were checking me and everything, right after that they placed the Cytotec, and I think I only got like 1 dose of the Cytotec. And I remember with Elena, I got 3. So like I was expecting this to be a really long process. Like I'd be there for like, I would be in labor for at least 23 hours or at least 20 hours, because with Lena I was in labor for 23. So I thought it would be a really long process, but no. And then right after this, we realized that we have Elena's car seat, which my mom needed because she was watching Elena and they needed to go and do stuff. And so we had to, Hunter had to leave and he had to go and drop off the car seat, whatever. He got back around like 6, I think, because he left at like 5:15 or something like that. He got back around 6, but around 5:30 a.m. is when the contractions started. And they were like, they weren't bad at all, but I could feel them, and they were like every 4 to 4.5 minutes. And I couldn't really feel them, but on the screen I knew they were there, so then I was more aware that they were happening, and so I don't know, I just knew they were happening. And then around like 6:50, like 6:55, there was more pain, but it was manageable, like it wasn't that bad. And then at 8:05 a.m. my doctor came in, and I thought that she would just check me and maybe place another Cytotec, but she didn't. Well, she came in and she broke my water. Okay. Everyone I talked to, when the doctor came in and they broke their water, it did not hurt. It was painless. And that's how it was for me with Elena. Like, it was nothing. Like, I didn't even really feel it. I just felt water coming out, you know? Okay. This, I really don't know what happened, but it was horrible, okay? Like, I remember grabbing onto like the rails of the bed, like, so hard, like trying to get away from this like thing that they're putting inside of me. I was just like, oh my god, like I was bawling, you guys, like I was bawling. And like, I don't know what took so long. I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't know if I just was not dilated enough for her to do this. And it was like a plastic thing, but it was like wide. Like, it was wide. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, this, I'm like, this really hurts. This is not supposed to hurt. And she's just like telling me to relax. And I'm like, dude, this is not okay. And my fiance was right there holding my hand. And he's like, is this normal? Like, this did not happen when she was in labor with our daughter Elena. Like, you guys, you really have no idea like how bad. Like, that's, oh my gosh, it was horrible. Finally that was done. I don't know, I still will never know why it hurt. I don't know, but so then we just hung out for a while. The pain was getting higher, I could feel it more, but it wasn't like right when they broke my water, like the contractions really started. That's not really, it didn't really go down like that, which I thought it would, but no. So then at like 8:50, the nurse came in and she started my Pitocin, and I was nervous for the Pitocin because I remember when I was in labor before, when I started the Pitocin, it just like right away it started, you know, like labor really started. And so I was really nervous about it, but I mean, I had to do it. So they put that in my IV and they started it, and they only started it at a 2 because I asked them, like, can we just start this really slow? So they started it at a 2, and I started feeling them more, but it wasn't really, they weren't more together. They were just the same, like 4 to 4.5 minutes apart. I could feel them, but it was still very manageable. And then at like 9:20 they came in and they upped my Pitocin to a 4. And by this time, by the way, my mom and my sister were there. So it was me, my fiance, and my sister, and they were there. And after they upped it to a 4, they started hurting more, the contractions, but still manageable. I thought I was doing good. Like, everything was going really smooth. And then around 9:50 they came in and they upped my Pitocin to a 6. So literally within an hour they went from a 2 to a 6. And I thought that they would wait a little bit longer to do this, you know, like I thought maybe they would keep me on a 2 for 30 minutes and then put me on a 4, maybe keep me on a 4 for an hour, just to like get things, like to have more of like a slow approach to it. I mean, I don't know. I would have done things differently, and I tried telling them this, but they did not listen to me. I had a birth plan and they did not follow it. It was just horrible. The experience I had was bad. And by this time, my contractions were every 1 to 2 minutes, or they were lasting about 30 seconds. My contractions were getting stronger at this point and more painful. At this point I was like starting to like grab onto the rail of the bed when they came and close my eyes, having to like kind of go in my zone, you know. But they weren't bad, but they were starting to hurt more, and so yeah, like still manageable. I could still manage them on my own without any medication, but they were getting there. And then around like 10:25, 10:30, they came in and they upped my Pitocin again to an 8. And they never, I don't think they ever went up anymore after this. This was the highest the Pitocin went. And okay, like about 10 minutes after they did this, it was hurting. It was definitely hurting. I tried walking around. I did walk around quite a bit, and then I walked around my room quite a bit. And I just remember every time that I would get a contraction, like I would just hold onto the rail of like the walker thing, like where your Pitocin and IVs and everything, and I would just like put my head on it and hold it, and I'm like, oh my god, like it hurt, but it hurt really bad to sit down. I was sitting down for a while, my back hurt, oh my god. And I kind of knew I was going to have back labor because my doctor told me if you have an anterior placenta, more likely you will have some back labor, and I definitely did. So yeah, it hurt. But at this time I was still managing it. It was getting harder to manage it, but I was trying to manage it. I wanted to go as long as I could without getting the epidural, because for whatever reason I was terrified that my epidural would wear off, because when I had Elena, they did give me a little clicky thing to give me more medicine through it, so I didn't know they even did that at this hospital, but they do. But anyway, so I tried to hold off as long as I could, and then around noon they came in and checked me and I was 5 centimeters. At this time I was like, oh my god, like I'm doing pretty good. I'm still managing these contractions and I'm doing good. But then a little bit after that, my contractions got very bad. They were hurting a lot more, but I still didn't ask for the epidural. I kind of talked to my mom and my sister and fiance about it. I'm like, I kind of want it, but I don't want to get it yet. I want to hold off. Then around like 12:45, I'm like, okay, can you just give me something through my IV? Just something to like, kind of like take the edge off, you know? So they gave me something through my IV. I don't even know what it was. But it helped like a tiny bit. It wasn't even really worth getting. But I thought might as well because I didn't want to get the epidural yet. And then around 1:30, my contractions were horrible. Oh my god. I remember like, I was like, you know, kind of moaning through them. I was like, oh my gosh, it was bad. I was crying so much and it just really hurt. And then around 2 p.m. they put in the internal heart monitor for the baby, and let me tell you, that hurt. Oh my gosh, that hurt so bad. And then when they did that, I was closer to 6 centimeters, so that was good. And then around 2:35, I asked for the epidural. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, I need an epidural. So we asked for it, and they told me that I had to wait for my IV to finish, like my bag of water in my IV to finish. For whatever reason, I had to wait for that, and it was like full. So I'm like, are you kidding? But I had to wait for that. And then it wasn't until like 3:30, the anesthesiologist came in and I got my epidural, and it was like fast and it was great. It went amazing. I was very scared for it. My fiance was scared for it because my last one did not go well, but this went really good. I didn't even really feel it, so if you have a good anesthesiologist, like, you'll have no problem whatsoever. And then I was checked around like 3:35 and I was 6 to 7 centimeters. And then at this time, contractions were painless besides the pressure, and there was a lot of pressure, but they did not hurt. It was just the pressure. Like a little bit later, I started feeling like urges that I needed to push with the contractions because of all the pressure, and my doctor, they were just like, you know what, let your body do what it's got to do. If you need to push, go ahead. And this was just pushing the baby down farther and farther, but the baby wasn't about to come out yet. So I was doing this for a while, and like pushing while I had contractions felt so great. Like it was like so relieving. And then at like 3:55 they came in and they checked me and I was at 8 centimeters. And you know, I just kept pushing with my contractions on my own, and then the nurse did come in a little bit later and did some practice pushes. At 4:15 she checked me. I was at 10 centimeters and it was ready to push. So they came in, they got everything ready for the baby and me, and it was just like so crazy. And at this time my fiance's mom was there too. Okay, so they were getting everything ready, and then it was time to push. And
pushing with that pressure will probably feel a little bit better now. So when you start getting those contractions, you can start pushing with them.
this?
Yeah, just like that. But you're gonna grab behind your leg too, so that you can curl around her and get a little bit more force with the.
Shade that.
Yep, you can flip that over.
All right,
Let that breath out. Take another big breath in and push.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep going.
All right.
Okay.
Take another big deep breath.
You can do it.
Yeah, I mean, she can try or start to come over. Don't be scared. Get mad and push her out. Do you want her right on your belly after she's born? See the skin? Push.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Keep that.
9,
Keep
10.
that. Again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yep,
6,
that's it. That's it. That's the push. That's the push. Go, 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 go,
9,
go, go, go,
10.
go, go, go.
Breath.
Deep breath. Right back at it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Good job. One more time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You got one more. There you go. Good job. Good job. It's almost out. Big deep breath. Big deep breath for that pressure. Okay, I'll press it. I don't think you're going to.
Okay, good.
Oh,
gosh. I know, she's right there, honey. She's like, her head's in.
Oh my god. Oh gosh.
She's just stretching, trying to keep you from tearing off at it, okay?
Ooh.
Nice deep breaths. Candle. Time to blow out a candle. Just come in the clamps, yep.
And then at like 4:25, they removed the internal heart rate monitors for the baby. And then at 4:35, I actually started pushing. And it just like, it was like relieving, but at the same time, it was painful. Like I started feeling a little bit more, but it wasn't bad. The part that hurt the worst is like Everly's head coming out. That was the worst. It was not fun, but it felt like they say, like the ring of fire. Like it felt like stretching so much, and then like her head was like literally almost halfway out, and my contraction went away, so I couldn't push again, but I still pushed on my own for a little bit. I kept pushing even without a contraction because it just hurt so bad. And then a contraction did come, so then I was able to get her head out. And at 4:49 p.m. January 6th, Everly was born, and she came out, and she was so beautiful.
Birthday!
Yeah, I see that. You got her? I'm gonna grab another blanket and a stethoscope. Alright, I'm just gonna sneak in here.
Don't give her your finger.
She had like a full head of hair. It was dark brown, and they laid her on me, and I was just like crying. Everyone was crying. It was great, and she was just so perfect. I pushed for like 15 minutes. That's like, with Elena I pushed for 3 or 2 hours. I can't remember which one, but I think it was 2 hours. But it was so fast, and it did not hurt. I didn't have to get a episiotomy. There was no tearing, so I didn't have to get any stitches or anything. And she weighed 7 pounds 6 ounces, and she was 20¼ inches long, and she just was so little, and she had like the cutest little face, and it was just like, she was just so perfect. And she had dark blue eyes also, and I just remember crying and crying. They delivered the placenta fine. That was fine. It didn't rip inside me like it did with my first baby, so that was fine. And yeah, like I can't even, like, I want to cry right now just thinking about it, because I remember like it was yesterday, you know. It was such a beautiful, exciting time, and it was amazing. It really was, and I loved it. But yeah, that's pretty much how it went. I was walking literally within an hour and a half after having her. We left the next day, and it was great. I was fine. I was walking normally. Like, I wasn't in really any pain. It was sore, obviously, but it wasn't bad, and it was great, you know. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. That's our labor and delivery story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't really exciting or anything, but hopefully I do have some clips of me during labor. I don't know if I'm going to be able to add them in because I am pretty exposed in them, but maybe there's a way I can blur things out, and then hopefully I will have gotten them in here somewhere. And I do have a few pictures, and I'll try to add those in too. But yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you in my next one.